Welcome to Midnight Sleep Crime Story. I'm going to help you relax tonight. I know many of you want to use this video to fall asleep. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to this channel. Let me know where you're watching from and what is the time there. Also do well by telling me the kind of story you would like to listen to. Title: A newly married man fight for his right when government refused to do the right thing. In a quiet American town where people still wave to strangers, where newly married couples dreamed of long peaceful lives, one man decided to stand against corruption. His name was Ethan Walker. He was not rich. He was not powerful. He was not famous. But he believed something dangerous, that the truth still mattered. And in the beginning, people loved him for it, until powerful men decided he had become a problem. Tonight, we tell the long and tragic story of a newly married man who fought for what was right and paid the ultimate price. So dim the lights, close your eyes, and drift into tonight's story. Ethan Walker, age 31, a calm, intelligent construction engineer newly married to his wife. Honest, disciplined, deeply moral, and respected by his community. Claire Walker, age 28, Ethan's loving wife. A school teacher with a gentle voice and strong emotional intelligence. She fears Ethan's fight will destroy them. Senator Richard Hale, age 58, a polished politician hiding decades of corruption behind charm and patriotism. Marcus Reed, age 45, former military operative now working secretly for a government black unit. Sheriff Daniel Brooks, age 50, a local sheriff caught between loyalty to the law and pressure from powerful officials. Olivia Turner, age 34, investigative journalist determined to expose government corruption. The small town of Ashford, Colorado rested quietly beneath a silver evening sky. Inside a modest two-story home near Willow Street, Ethan Walker stood in the kitchen making tea. Only 3 weeks had passed since the wedding. The house still smelled like fresh paint and unopened gifts. Claire sat at the wooden dining table wearing Ethan's oversized sweater, smiling softly as she graded papers from her classroom. Outside, rain tapped gently against the windows. Inside, life felt safe. "Chamomile?" Ethan asked. Claire smiled. "You already know the answer." He laughed quietly, and for a moment, the world seemed kind. Ethan brought the mugs over carefully and sat beside his wife. Neither of them knew that their peaceful little home had already been placed under surveillance. Across town, inside a black SUV parked beneath a broken street light, two men watched grainy camera footage on a laptop screen. One of them was Marcus Reed. Cold eyes, military posture, emotionless voice. He stared at Ethan's face silently. Then he spoke. "That's the one." The younger agent frowned. "You really think he knows?" Marcus leaned back slowly, his asking questions. And questions become movements. Weeks earlier, Ethan had been assigned to oversee structural inspections for a federal housing redevelopment project. At first, everything looked normal. But while reviewing archived expense reports late one evening, he noticed missing funds. Millions of dollars. Entire safety budgets had disappeared. Bridge materials were replaced with cheap substitutes. Emergency support beams were never installed. Inspection records had been falsified. At first, Ethan assumed it was accounting negligence. But then, he found signatures. Government signatures. The deeper he looked, the darker everything became. And one name appeared repeatedly. Senator Richard Hale. The senator publicly called himself a patriot. He gave speeches about family values, about honesty, about protecting Americans. But hidden behind official documents was a network of stolen contracts, fake companies, and dead whistleblowers. Ethan stared at the files in disbelief. His hands trembled slightly, because now he understood something terrifying. This was not corruption by accident. This was organized. Late one night, Claire found Ethan sitting alone in the living room. Stacks of files surrounded him. The television was off. The house was silent. Only the ticking wall clock remained. Claire approached carefully. "Ethan?" He looked exhausted. She sat beside him gently. "You haven't slept." Ethan rubbed his eyes. "I found something bad." "How bad?" He hesitated, then finally whispered, "The kind of bad that gets people killed." Claire froze. Outside, wind moved through the trees. For the first time since their marriage, fear entered their home. Ethan refused to stay silent. At first, he reported the fraud internally. No response. Then he contacted oversight offices. Ignored. Finally, he released copies of the documents anonymously online. Within days, the story exploded. News stations picked it up. Citizens protested. Construction workers marched through city streets demanding investigations. People began calling Ethan a hero after his identity leaked. Local diners offered him free coffee. Strangers shook his hand. Truck drivers honked support as they passed his home. For a brief moment, it felt like justice might actually win. But power does not surrender quietly. Inside a private conference room in Washington, D.C., Senator Hale watched television coverage in silence. Then he muted the screen. His expression darkened. "He needs to disappear." The room became still. Marcus Reed nodded once, and the operation quietly began. Days later, Ethan noticed strange things. A black sedan parked near his house every evening. Unknown calls with no voices. Cars following him at night. Claire begged him to stop. "Please, Ethan, this isn't worth your life." But Ethan believed truth mattered more than fear. And deep inside, he still believed the system would protect him. He was wrong. Very wrong. Because somewhere beyond the public eye, a decision had already been made. A secret task force had labeled Ethan Walker a national threat. Not because he committed violence. Not because he broke the law. But because he exposed the truth. Olivia Turner arranged a televised interview with Ethan. The studio lights glowed softly. Millions watched. Ethan spoke calmly. "I'm not trying to destroy America," he said. "I'm trying to protect ordinary people from corruption." His voice carried sincerity. People trusted him. And that frightened powerful men even more. Across the country, approval for Senator Hale collapsed. Investigations quietly opened. Donors panicked. Careers trembled. So Marcus Reed received final authorization. No paperwork. No records. No witnesses. Just one silent command. End it. It happened on a cold October evening. Ethan stood outside a courthouse after meeting federal investigators. Reporters shouted questions. Cameras flashed. Police barriers lined the street. Claire waited near the car. Then, from nearly 700 yards away, inside an abandoned office building, a sniper adjusted his breathing slowly. Crosshairs settled on Ethan's chest. For one final second, the city noise disappeared. Then came the shot. A single suppressed crack echoed through the evening air. Ethan staggered backward. The crowd screamed. Claire ran toward him, crying uncontrollably. Blood spread across Ethan's shirt as he collapsed into her arms. People who once praised him watched helplessly. And somewhere far away, Marcus Reed closed a file folder quietly. Operation complete. The official report called it the work of a lone extremist. But many people never believed the story. Candles filled the sidewalks. Flowers covered the courthouse gates. Citizens marched through the streets carrying Ethan's photograph. Claire rarely spoke publicly afterward. But years later, during a quiet interview, she said something the country never forgot. They killed a good man because he refused to become a dishonest one. And for millions of Americans, those words still echoed long after Ethan Walker was gone. Ending, sleep story closing. Narrator: some people seek comfort. Some seek power. but a rare few choose truth, even when truth costs everything. Tonight, the town of Ashford sleeps quietly once more. Rain falls softly against empty streets, and somewhere, in the memory of ordinary people, Ethan Walker still stands. If you like this video, kindly like, comment, subscribe to this channel.